Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, KageKaze here, and today I am playing Battlefield 4's multiplayer beta, or at least I will be. There's a reason I'm in my web browser right now, and that's because much like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 will be using the Battlelog online system, which is pretty much a web browser that launches the game for you. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I think it's kind of cool because it does create some kind of social aspects that you can do with the game. But what I dislike about Battlelog so far, and hopefully this might change, is that to do anything in the game, I have to pretty much come in here and find a multiplayer server. If I want to launch the game, see what my keybinds are, see what the resolution is, if I want to fix anything with the audio or the graphics, I have to launch the game and actually go into a server. I can't just load the game up, go to the game's title screen, and say, hey, I would like to change certain aspects. You can't do that. Now, I have heard from some of the blogs here from DICE is that they will be adding some kind of, I guess, a training mode where you can go in and you can play with any of the game's vehicles and train with them, which is a welcome addition. It's not here in the beta from what I could tell, but I like that because it means that people can go in and learn how to fly in a helicopter without joining a multiplayer game and crashing over and over again to their teammates' dismay. So that's great. There's a way to do that. That also may be a way to get into the game and change your graphic settings and things like that. So I'm hoping they follow through with that because really only having the web interface, it can cause some problems like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over this to see some of the changes here. The battle log is much the same from Battlefield 3. It will show you basically your feed. It will show you where your next upgrades are coming from. Something new to Battlefield 4, it looks like, are these battle packs. I'll go ahead and click on this. And it looks like what they're doing this time is kind of randomizing some of the stuff you get. Just because instead of telling you you're going to get a barrel, you're going to get an iron sight, or you're going to get some kind of upgrade, you get these battle packs, and it looks like you get them every 2 ranks. So I'm not quite there yet. I'm still rank 1, it looks like. Experience has been a little slow going so far, but I've only been playing for a few hours. Usually, though, I kind of expect the first few levels to be pretty quick, just so you can experience it. I would expect like rank 1, 2, and 3 to be fairly quick, and then it's a slowdown. But so far, it's been it's been moderate. I wouldn't say it's too slow yet. I have to play more to really feel that. But it looks like you get one of these packs, and it can randomly contain some kind of upgrade. So if we look at this one here that this person got, they've got a 6x scope, a flash suppressor, and an experience boost. And that's something I don't know how I feel about, an experience boost. That works well in free-to-play games where you're unlocking things because you could be playing the game without paying for it. But here we're talking about a full, price game where you get these experience boosts, and those experience boosts allow you to get more and more gear as you gain rank. I know in Battlefield 3 they did that, but in Battlefield 3 they did it on a steady progression. And a lot of the upgrades really didn't matter. Now in this, it could be that the upgrades don't matter either. I say don't matter, I mean they did based on your gameplay, but they were balanced, usually. So one upgrade over the other wasn't a big deal comparatively, but you could really customize yourself as the way you want to play. So I'm not sure how I feel about the experience boost. Especially, let's talk about what they're doing with releasing the game right now. And a little bit of my, I guess, anger with DICE. You can pre-order the game, and you're going to get this pack that unlocks basically all the unlocks for the vehicles. So we go in here. Not all the unlocks for vehicles and soldiers are in the beta. They've only given us a limited sample. So what you see here is not going to be representative of the final product. In fact, throughout this whole thing, graphics, gameplay, bugs, all that, this is very much unfinished. They've admitted as much, and so what you see can change at a drop of a hat. So there's always room for improvement. But you can pre-order the game and get this vehicle pack that lets you unlock all the vehicle upgrades right away. Now, if they're balanced right, this won't be too big of a deal. The good news is they didn't pull a Battlefield 3 and make it so that flares were an unlock. That was one of the worst mistakes I think they made with Battlefield 3, making it so that you had to unlock flares before you could even use them. And it was a very quick rank. It was like maybe rank 2 that you could get them. But what happened is, as people played the game and new people came in, new people that wanted to fly couldn't, just because they would get shot down so quickly. So they've learned from that, thankfully. It looks like they've learned from a lot of things from Battlefield 3 because a lot of these things are, they seem a little more balanced. But I don't know if I like the idea that you could just unlock everything. Like if you could purchase that later, like when the game's been out for a while and it lets people catch up, that might be fine. But to start the game off with some people having this huge advantage, I mean, sure, most people that are going to be serious about Battlefield 3 are going to pre-order and they might get that. But, you know, you think about as people come in that aren't quite as interested that didn't pre-order. And then there's this Battlefield 4 premium thing. Just like Battlefield 3, you can right now for $50, it's like 50 or 60 bucks, purchase Battlefield 4 Premium, and you will get 5 expansion packs when they come out. So they've already planned 5 expansion packs for this game. And that was kind of part of my anger at this game when I first heard about its announcement. Battlefield 3 was still playing. It was all the expansions hadn't come out, and they announced that they were going to make Battlefield 4 already. And I was kind of scratching my head on that. I was like, man, that seems early. Now, it felt early because they don't normally do that with Battlefield. They release a Battlefield game maybe once every year or so. That's not unusual. What's unusual is to release a numbered Battlefield that quickly. Because when you think of the other ones, they kind of jumped genres. You had 1942, you had Vietnam, you had 2142, you had Bad Company, Battlefield 3, you know, Bad Company 2. They kind of went through different stages because each game had its own unique gameplay that was interesting, that people liked and they wanted. And so to go from a Battlefield 3 to a Battlefield 4 within that short of a time period, I think that's what kind of threw some people off, even me, that it's like, you know, it seems awfully soon. But there's something about these expansions, you know, I have this thing about the way DLC has been going lately, and that's kind of what this, you know, you get these map packs. And what bothers me about that is what I've seen happen is with some of these map packs is it can fragment some people. You know, you've got people that don't have expansion packs that want to play with friends, and then you go on the servers. Now, thankfully, it's easy to sort the servers by expansion. You could do that in Battlefield 3. But it seems like each server plays each expansion pack. Like you'll have a server that was in-game, you'll have a server that was Armored Fury or whatever it was. But so you can't play all of them because they basically cater it to each person that has each expansion, and then you play those set of maps rather than randomizing it. Now some servers do, but then you've got the people that can't play on those servers because they don't own it. So I don't know about that. I mean, I'm glad that they're offering a premium thing that says, hey, you know, for one price you can own them all, so that people don't get, you know, fragmented like that. But I'm gonna be honest, I bought the Battlefield 3 premium pack. And I ended up not playing in-game because I was kind of getting annoyed with Battlefield. And I'll talk about that. It was a balance thing more than it was anything else because of what I like to do. But just kind of continuing through here, I'm going to go over some of the specs of the soldiers here on the battle log, because one problem I've already run across is that I tried to go over some of the things on my kit in a game. I was in an empty server, completely empty. I was the only player. And I was basically going through my kit, and I got kicked from the server. All right. It wasn't just a kick, actually. It was a ban. I got banned for being idle in a server. And that just kind of, I don't know, it just confused the hell out of me. It's like, wow, there's no one in this server. I'm sitting here holding a slot so that people might join. And yeah, anyway. So you've got your standard kits. You've got the Assault, the Engineer, Support, Recon, just like Battlefield 3. They've segregated the vehicles kind of like before: main battle tanks, infantry fighting vehicles. You've got anti-aircraft, boats making kind of a return, including having unlocks for boats, scout helicopters and attack helicopters, transports. What you don't see here, oddly, are the jets. So what they're doing with jets this time is kind of nice. There's no jet in the beta, unfortunately, and I really wish there was, because I would like to judge the balance of jets versus helicopters. They're going to make 2 jets right now. They're going to make a stealth jet, and stealth jets are essentially air-to-air jets. And then there's going to be attack jets, which are going to be air-to-ground. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Let me go ahead and I'll kind of show you some of the weapons customization and unlocks as well. So let's see. Let's go to my loadout. And let's say, for example, I've been playing Engineer. So you can click on your primary weapon, and what's nice is you can see these bars that will show you a representation of what your current damage, accuracy, mobility, and range is. And if I mouse over any one of them, it'll show you the differences. So that's pretty nice. We can see that the DMRs here have less mobility, but they have more damage, range, and accuracy. We can go down the shotguns, see where their damage ranges are. Now, again, these are not all the items. It looks like a small selection, but they will probably add more. I'm not entirely upset that there's see, this one doesn't make sense to me. Like, the difference here is just in mobility. So why would you ever pick the M9 over the P226? I don't understand. See, these bars are obviously not going to represent everything about the gun. Obviously, there's going to be things about the gun, such as, you know, the way it spreads and things like that, that people are going to like more than others. So while bars are a great comparison tool, they're not everything. All right, so let me talk about upgrades. You may remember from Battlefield 3, if you played it before, that you could pick some kind of perk that you had. You could have basically sprint, you could have extra armor, flak armor to reduce explosion damage to yourself. That still exists, but it exists in this new field upgrade system. This is a series of upgrades that you can get by performing well with a squad. As your squad does objectives and performs well together, keeps themselves alive, you will start gaining these perks. Now, this is what I don't like about the battle log. I can pick what I want, defensive or offensive. I haven't unlocked offensive yet, obviously. But I can't see what the perks do. I can do that in game, but if I join a game in idle, I'm going to get kicked. So they need to kind of rein that in. They need to get this so that all the information you need can be done right here rather than having to go into a game and look. But I can go ahead and give you an idea of what these do. So as you're playing, the very first one of these two, either defensive or offense, is always active. So you can pick one of these based on which one you want to have. And then as your squad does well, the bar goes up, you get the next, next, next. Now, if your squad gets entirely wiped out, you lose a little bit of that bar. So you can lose some of that progress. This is nice, but I can also see it being a little bit of a snowballing effect. You know, teams that are doing well will continue to do well and do better. But the good news is that the perks are typically not so game-changing that I don't see it being a huge issue with snowballing. So it can still be balanced. So let's look at what you get. For defensive, you always start off with armor, which is 10% less damage to the chest. So you will take a little bit less damage to the chest area. You also get a... that's not falling damage. I apologize. I forget what that one is. We're going to go flak, which is reduced explosion damage. We have regeneration time. Now, this is your final one. This will give you basically reduced time for when you regenerate. So if you take damage and it takes you maybe 5 seconds to start regenerating health, then you will maybe do it in 4 or 3. And this is reduced suppression, I just recalled, so please forgive me that I didn't know that right off the top of my head. Reduced suppression, so they do have suppression back in Battlefield 4 from 3, where if you're taking fire from a distance, your vision will blur. They've changed it a little bit too. Apparently you're going to get some scope sway now when you zoom in, so you can counter the suppression through skill. The suppression system is being designed so that long-range suppression is more effective. So if someone's shooting at you downrange, such as a support soldier, but you'll get more suppression. But if you're in close quarters combat, it shouldn't matter as much. So they took that to heart from apparently the close quarters mod or expansion that they did in Battlefield 3. They didn't want the suppression to play as big of a thing in the close quarters. So it'll still matter for the big maps, but it won't matter as much for the small ones. Going to offensive, you start with sprint, so you can sprint faster. You can get additional ammo, additional grenades, and then there's less falling damage. What this does is this prevents you from taking damage up to like a 2-story fall, I believe, and then after that you take damage as normal. So it doesn't reduce it overall, it just reduces it for, it makes it so you don't take damage over a longer distance, which can be nice if you like to jump out of buildings. All right, every class has a kit. You've got 2 gadgets you can carry. What's nice about this is in Battlefield 3, I believe your gadgets were locked to certain slots. So in Battlefield 3, I could have a repair tool and I could have an RPG, or I could have a repair tool and a stinger. It looks like in this, I can actually have an RPG and a stinger. All I have to do is select the gadgets I want. So if I do Gadget 1, repair tool, do Gadget 2, you'll notice repair tools, it's locked out because I already have it, but I can go ahead and go RPG or stinger. You can even get a little bit of information there. All right, I think that's enough. What I'll do is I'm going to do a little bit of gameplay over all of the classes, I think, in the game. We'll go in, take a look at some things, and we can go over the kits as I go in game. So I'm going to go pick a game now through their wonderful, wonderful battle log system, because I've been talking enough. Multiplayer. I can refresh, look at a couple games, and I'll try and pick maybe a smaller game so that it'll be a little bit easier to go over some of the systems in the game. All right, I will see you there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game, and this is your spawn screen, which has been greatly updated since Battlefield 3. So you can, of course, select whatever point you want on the map at large, not just on the mini-map. This is something I love right here, this deployment camera. This is my main base. I can take a look at what's going on in my base. I can click on a vehicle and see what's going on with that vehicle. So if there's a vehicle that spawns in a point, you don't have to go to the point and run to the vehicle anymore. They've made it so you can spawn directly on vehicles. So for example, in the main base, we've got a helicopter, a transport. I can click on it and I can see what's happening right outside the cockpit before I spawn into it, so I can tell if it's in danger. Which is a fantastic addition. I can't tell you how many times I've spawned into vehicles that were about to blow up. Right, so it's kind of fun though, because there have been points where, like here, Delta just spawned a tank or a vehicle, and there was one point where a vehicle spawned. It was a tank, and I went in and I saw the camera and I saw a glitch. Oh, it's because someone got into it. I saw an enemy running up to that vehicle, and I decided, oh, I can surprise this guy. I knew the guy was going to be there, so I spawned into the vehicle, switched it to the machine guns, and killed him. So it's a really great addition there. So I like to see the interface has definitely been updated. So what we can see here is you can have you've got your major spawn, your kits up here, Assault, Engineer, Support, Recon. I'm going to start with Engineer since he's near and dear to my heart. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that I was a little bit wrong about the gadget. So Gadget 1 is my RPG. I can switch it over to the Stinger, but apparently I cannot have a RPG and Stinger at the same time. I thought you could just from the way they showed it on the web page, but apparently I was wrong. They will only let you have the RPG or the Stinger. Honestly, I think it would be cool to let me choose to have a purely offensive kit without having a repair tool, but at the same time I can see why that would be bad, just because it would make you kind of a one-man wrecking crew. You could go out, fight infantry, fight tanks, fight helicopters all at the same time, so that might not be a great idea, but that's okay. Interested to see what they eventually do with grenades, since that is a slot. We do have, of course, bayonet and survival knives. I'm on a defensive upgrade. So here's what I was talking about. In the game, it'll actually show you what you have. Armor, cover, flak, and quick regen. Doesn't show you that in the battle log for whatever reason. There's going to be many camouflage options, many options for the gun. As an engineer, I have access to a few PDWs. I don't have anything else really unlocked. Let's see if I have any... I click on customize. Let's see if I had if I unlocked anything, because I might have. Starts with a reflex. So I like that every gun in Battlefield 4 starts with some kind of optic sight. You can put it back to iron sights if you so desire. If you really want that kind of gameplay, you can do it. I prefer to have optic sights myself. I've got myself a laser sight. So basically it looks like all the guns from the beginning are kitted out very nicely. Oh, I got a compensator, so we can see what it does. It gives me more stability but loses accuracy. So reduces muzzle drift by 25%, but it adds a 30% penalty to the accuracy of automatic fire, which, you know, can be fine. I've been doing too much automatic firing, and I need to train myself to not do more automatic firing. So that's kind of nice that it doesn't muzzle drift as much, though, so I can definitely use that. No other grips right now. There are many types of paint. They have this new thing called Adaptive, which will change itself according to your environment. I guess think like Solid Snake's camo, maybe not that extreme. All right, so I'm going to go out as engineer, and we're going to try and help my team. We're kind of losing points here. Looks like the beginning of the game has just started, and point C, the most important point of the map, has been downed. I'm sad to see that. I kind of wanted to show that. Maybe I'll get it recorded from another server. This is Point Charlie. This is normally a giant skyscraper in the middle of the map. Right now it's a pile of rubble. You can just cause massive havoc on each of these maps. Certain maps, like you can flood a map. In this map you can knock down this skyscraper. So this skyscraper, when it's standing, it's an excellent sniping point. It's an excellent point for a couple of weapon pickups. Great advantage. But when it's down like this, you can see it's a little bit harder to defend because there's all this cover, certainly, so it's more susceptible to infantry because you can kind of dodge behind all this cover. Whoa. Sniper from behind. But what also happened when this whole building got knocked down is that there is now a whole bunch of... too much automatic fire. Too many infantry, too. There is a whole bunch of smoke in the area now. That building going down is causing a whole bunch of smoke in the air. So you can use that as almost like a cloud cover, if you will. You can see it's not that easy to see at distance. So an enemy helicopter in the distance there can't really see it too well. Oh dear. Kill assist. What I want to show off are these what they call battle pickups, and essentially this is something that I think Battlefield Desert Combat, the mod, did before Battlefield's main team ever did. Damn it, too many enemies. They're all over the place. Yeah, see, there's a guy apparently way over there watching the center. So what I can do is, I know he's there now, I can sneak up on him. Enemy team not really using many tanks. I'm going to go ahead, you know what, I'm going to go to Bravo, and I'm going to try and help out with this tank so I can show off my engineer gameplay a little bit. So I've got my PDR, I've got my trusty pistol, rocket launcher, repair tool, grenades. You still have a button to push that you can throw grenades without having to swap to grenades. Keep in mind, again, everything you're seeing, beta gameplay footage, I am playing in medium settings because I was having a hard time with the game stuttering a lot. I fixed that mostly, though, by doing the new NVIDIA driver. So if you're planning on playing this beta and you have an NVIDIA card, get the latest NVIDIA beta drivers. It really works well with Battlefield. So in the lower left, I'd like to point out, you can see there's my squad, but the bar above the squad is all those perks that I have that I was talking about before. You can see my bar is pretty much empty. So that means that all I really have is the armor. But I can start unlocking more as we go. Oh boy. Running in, charging into combat. There's a bunch of enemies up there. There are just a lot of really cool things that they've done to this game that I'm impressed by. I'm going to admit, I was not following Battlefield 4 at all. I was miffed at them from Battlefield 3. But now, and I'm kind of glad I didn't follow it, because everything I'm seeing is kind of a surprise. So there's like all these really cool little features. There's elevators that you can ride. You can just push the elevator button and it'll take you to the top floor of a building that you're nearby. The whole massive destruction thing is cool. I was expecting, though, the way they were hyping it up, that I could go into the game and say, see this building right here? I was thinking I could knock that down. Now, I understand that's probably a technical impossibility, but it's what I was hoping for. You know, I wanted to be able to just knock down buildings, and unfortunately I find out that the building you knock down is a scripted event. Oh dear. Our friendly tanks are not shooting at the tank in there. Oh, what's shooting at me? Really? Long-range sniper. Congratulations. Alright, so let's talk about something that annoys me a little bit about Battlefield 4 that was kind of an issue in 3. Squad spawning. I can spawn on any one of my squad mates at any point in the game. I'm not sure I like this. It causes so much confusion and chaos on the battlefield. You don't really have a defined battlefront when you do this. Like, here we have this really cool side versus side with a center point that you have to fight over, right? Well, when you got squad spawning happening, I could go over, like, let's say the enemy team right now, if they could go over here to our point E and start taking it just because they can keep spawning on it. Now, there's good and bad to it, obviously, because the good is that means that your squad mates can spawn on your vehicle. If you need a gunner, you don't have to go and land on them. It does help you, like, defend a point or take a point, but again, it kind of blurs those battle lines. Since you can spawn so easily on a point, or at least on a squad member, it makes it so that having choke points can sometimes really not be an issue anymore. Look at them shoot him. They're shooting each other. That's hilarious. They're just having fun over there with it. Now, I think maybe Battlefield 2 might have had the right idea where you could only spawn on your squad leader. So that means one designated person is the person to spawn on. But it's still, even that can cause some problems. Now, one of those problems being, like, we know there's a sniper on that roof, right? That sniper, if he were a squad leader, could continually spawn people on him, and they can just all be on that roof. How do you counter that outside of having an aerial vehicle? What happens if the enemy's taken away your aerial vehicles? You really can't do too much about it. Now, granted, that if they take away your air vehicles, you're probably going to have a bad time anyway. But it's one of those things where anyone can go on top of a roof or into a position that you can't be killed easily, and people will just keep spawning on you and spawning on you, and the enemy team can't do anything about it. So I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's cool for some things, and I think it can cause some serious problems at the same time. Now, one of the things that drove me away from Battlefield 3, and why I didn't follow 4, was air balance. And that's why I'm really sad to see that there's no jet in this map, or at least a map with a jet in it being offered. Helicopters in Battlefield 3 went from being okay, to kind of being overpowered, to, in my opinion, being to being nigh worthless. So they started off okay. There were definitely some issues. Then they kind of fixed things to where helicopters were a terror. Helicopters were taking people out like crazy. They didn't have too many threats, honestly. The big thing was because they could constantly dodge and get out of lock. So all they had to do was dodge behind a hill, a building, or something like that. And so what they do, they did something really cool. They said, okay, what we'll do is we'll reduce the range of stingers, right? Which is, because that was the biggest problem being in a helicopter. You would leave your base, and like 10 meters out of your base, you'd be pinged by a lock. Because the stingers had such a long range, it was crap. It was hard to do anything, because you were constantly just hoping someone didn't shoot at you. So they reduced the range of stingers. Great idea. Compensated it with a half the lock-on time. Even better idea. I mean, if you're going to nerf the range, you need to give the stinger something, because without the range, stingers were going to be very difficult to even defend yourself with. So that was awesome. They did a really good job there. But then they increased the damage of jets versus helicopters through their autocannons. And then it wasn't so bad in Battlefield 3 proper, so I didn't really notice it as an issue. But then the new expansion pack that I was really waiting for came out. The one with the giant maps, Armored Kill, or whichever one it might have been called. Damn it, I'm aiming too high. I wish I could blow up the supports here and knock those tanks down. That would be really... You know what? I haven't tried that. Let's try it. Nope, guess not. There are things you can blow up. It doesn't really tell you what you can blow up, but there are parts of the map that you can knock it. You can cave in certain areas. You just kind of have to guess, or, you know, trial and error. Now, yes, this rocket, even though it's a dumbfire right now, if someone were to do a laser designation like they just did, my rocket would home in on that enemy, so you do still have that. But what ended up happening when you got the large maps in Battlefield 3... my own fault. I was going in for a knife kill, and he saw me. I was hoping he wouldn't. So what ended up happening with the large maps is that it just became too hard to fight jets. Jets could knock you out of the air in a split second with the autocannon damage they were doing. And so with the large maps, it really showcased the problem that Battlefield 3 had. Battlefield 3 was based around the smaller maps, around the maps with more cover. And you just really had no cover in the giant vehicle-based maps, and jets could find you and easily kill you. You know, in the stock maps, I could hide behind buildings and things like that. Oh, Jeebus. Oh, I'm getting shot by more than one person, of course. Well, looks like my squad... yeah, we got completely wiped out. They just kept spawning there. Alright, we're about to lose E, so I'm going to go try and defend that. Going to continue to use my engineer kit for now. This is not the best kit for fighting infantry, but... yeah, that didn't go out well. Oh well. That's okay. I really love this feature right here. So that's the engineer. Let's go on to something else. Let's do an assault, and I'm going to go ahead and configure him because I don't like the grenade launcher without it being underslung. So I'm going to go and configure my rifle. And as much as I like the ergo grip, I'm going to put on the rail, so I'm going to lose some hip fire. That's fine. But the rail means that my grenade launcher will work underneath it, so I like that. You can customize your pistols, by the way. You get, apparently there's not only an iron sight, but you can get a ghost ring, which I don't have. Let me see, accessories, so flashlight, laser sights. So pistols now can be customized individually. Rather than having to unlock a pistol with a flashlight, you can put one on it. So that's nice. Really nice. So what we're going to do is, what gadgets do we have? So they've maintained the idea that the assault kit is also the medic. So we've got the high energy, we've got the shotgun, the mass, which is, so this is much like Battlefield 3. So I've got the grenade launcher and I've got my first aid packs. And you can unlock the defib. So of course I would lose my grenade launcher, but that's okay. Start off with a defensive kit. Alright, so let's go in. We're going to go in with assault. And try and help out. Now the question is where's a good point to help out? Looks like up here might be a good point. Let's deploy. So right there, that's the elevator. You can actually see that people can close and open the elevator door, and people will... You'll ride in the elevator for a couple seconds and then you'll come up. See, just like that. Nice. And you can close it and open it on your own and hopefully trick opponents into thinking that you're coming up on it, which is kind of cool. I think I just saw... yes, I did. Nice. Alright, so I've got the underslung, so it's right underneath my rifle, so I can just hit 3, and it goes right to it. It's much quicker than swapping weapons. That is something they had a problem with in Battlefield 3, that if you swapped the grenade launcher to the underslung, it was not... There was no advantage to it. There was no advantage to having it on your rifle's rail compared to just using it normally. Because it did not swap fast or anything like that. They eventually fixed that, I believe. Looks like they've got this up here on lockdown, but they're not taking the point, which is kind of the point of the whole thing. So what I need to do is go in on there. Now I can't... There we go. Can I prone? Good. Now, what I haven't been able to do, because the server's been kind of full, is show you guys the battle pickups. I was talking about it because I was on my way to do it at Point Charlie. You can pick up weapons on the field, and I'm pretty sure, like I said, that Desert Combat did this. I know Point of Existence did this. Those were all mods. I don't think the main Battlefield series has done it before, but there are weapons that will spawn in the field. And these weapons are, once you get them, they can be overpowered. But they are offered with limited ammunition and very long respawn times. Yep, saw that one coming. Kind of hectic. I can't tell who to spawn on there. We are losing a whole bunch of points. Unfortunately, in this, Charlie is the only one that I know of that has these kind of spawns. Ooh, helicopter. Let's give you a little bit of helicopter gameplay, shall we? Let's do this. Oh, I'm going to be a gunner. Awesome. So, in my helicopter kit, I have unlocked the radar. So I can see other helicopters, enemies on the map on the lower left. Now, there's no ping to indicate that it is on and working. I just know it is. Now, they did take away flares from gunners. They did that, I think they did that in Battlefield 3 proper, actually. No, 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 we're getting shot, buddy. We're getting shot. Don't go down, don't go down. Get us out of here, buddy. I have no idea where they're shooting us from. Where the heck is that coming from? So the game is a little bit choppy, as you can see. I'm hoping that they tighten that up, because it has been very difficult to perform very intense fight maneuvers, like right. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Coming up, there was like a couple buildings that were going to be close together, and you could fly between them. And I can do it when I'm on a server that's empty, but when there's a bunch of people in it, the helicopter tends to shake. I think that was a problem 3 had for a while, and I think they reined it in. And I hope they do it on this one as well. So let's kind of go out. And what I want to do is I want to really show some of this destruction. So what I probably need to do is find a new map, or find one that's less populated, and then I can go over some of the destruction stuff, you know, what you're capable of doing. Let's just get a little bit of gameplay with this and use my grenade launcher maybe a bit. What I like to point out at the bottom of the screen here while I'm playing is that there are nice handy indicators for what you can do as a kit. You see the T turns on and off. My laser sight lets me know that. 3 switches to, of course, the grenade. 4 is my health pack. I'll just throw one out. Supposedly the health packs, these only heal 1 soldier, and they can heal them up to full. So it can't heal a group anymore. But even though it doesn't show it in the beta, I believe you can unlock the giant health kits that you had before. I know that the support can do the same thing with the ammo packs. They can throw out an individual ammo pack, or they can unlock the giant one that replenishes over an area. Okay, swimming. This is pretty cool. If I hold control, which is basically crouch, I can swim underwater. And so the enemy can't really see and target me while I'm doing this. Also, while you're swimming, you're not completely defenseless. You can use a sidearm. I took a little bit of damage because I was underwater too long. But you're not... I like this, the fact that you're not completely defenseless and you can sneak around. Where's that hostile? He's over here somewhere. There he is. Now I think what you're seeing on the ground, like if you look at the minimap, there's like a gun icon. That's supposed to show where the battle pickups are, and I think it's bugged because the 2 battle pickups you're seeing there are battle pickups for when the tower is up. What's really cool about shooting down this tower is that not only do you lose the sniping points, but in the tower, while it's up, there are these 2 pickups at the top of the tower. One is a laser-guided missile launcher that will target. It's a image recognition system, but from the looks of it, if you fire a missile with it and lose lock and the missile veers off, you can reacquire the lock and the missile will come back. So as long as you keep the target locked, you're fine, which means it does go through flares of helicopters. Nice try. Now the downside is every time I shot at a helicopter with it, it killed a helicopter in 1 hit. So it acts a lot like the SOFLAM combo in Battlefield 3, which I hate, by the way. That was another thing that made helicopters horrible to fly in, was that you could be basically shot out of the air in 1 hit without any way to fight back. It was one of the worst experiences I'd ever had in flying in Battlefield, or in Battlefield in general, honestly. So I was really sad to see that that was a thing. So I'm a little concerned that that might be overpowered, but when you pick it up, it's only got 4 shots, and it takes a long time to respawn. Also in the tower, when it's up, is a sniper rifle that appears to be a 50 cal anti-material rifle with a rangefinder, so you can zero it in and all that real easily. Now, when the building is down like this, what's supposed to spawn is a grenade launcher, and it's supposed to be in this area here. So you can actually pick up a grenade launcher with, I think, 8 shells or something in it, and it just wreak havoc. So it's like having one of, my underslung, but just rapid fire version, because you don't have to reload it, except for like every 6 shells or something like that. So rapid fire grenade launcher. These battle pickups are serious game changers when used properly. If you're a sniper and you're good at sniping, you're going to want that 50 cal. It's got a bipod, it's got range finding, it's got everything you really need to be effective. Oh! Nice shot, buddy. Nice shot. Alright, I haven't really blown anybody up, nor have I really healed anybody. Let's see about deploying in this thing. I like to know that it's not getting shot down. Okay, bravo. Now, I believe this is one of those things that you can cause right here. This collapse back here in the... I believe if you shoot out a structure is what causes this to collapse. There are just certain things like that that you can do. I haven't been able to really totally experiment with all of them. Sniper's down, I take it, huh? Not bad, yeah, the server's pretty full, so that's... I'm normally not on super large servers, but I wanted to try and get as much, massive gameplay in it as possible. Yeah, I imagine this is, because you run down these stairs and... Oh, there's all these debris. And I'm not an engineer, so I can't take out that tank. Oh, there are some things here I can show you that are pretty cool. So in this map, you've got over here, you've got these are metal detectors. They can go off to give away your position, but you also have this. I can close the shutters. And it's really hard to shoot through those, so unless they blow it up. It looks like someone did. Someone already blew through the shutters. But you can use that as cover. And people will have a hard time getting to you. Now someone will still have to jump through that, but I can always come back here. I know that I can, like if that wasn't blown up, I know that I could watch this direction here and watch for enemies coming. So there's just many different things you can do to the battlefield itself to manipulate how the flow of combat goes. And I think all these are rolling good. But I still wonder if the squad spawning thing kind of circumvents it. So let's go ahead and go to support now. We'll go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. We've got a U-100 Mark V. Looks like the alternative being a Type 88. Let's go ahead and let's look at the gadgets we get. We've got an air burst grenade launcher. Supposedly can explode mid-flight to eliminate enemies behind cover. It's supposed to basically explode 3 meters past the cover. I really don't know how to do that yet. We'll find out. So there's the ammo box and the ammo pack. So kind of as we expect, let's go ahead and go into point Bravo. And I'll show you at the bottom. You notice at the 4 menu at the bottom, you can see that there are several options that I can do as a support soldier. So 3 is, of course, my air burst. This does have a rangefinder, as you can see, but I don't know how to set it. I will probably have to look in the controls a bit more. I'll just kind of fire it off. And you can see that it fires pretty much straight and then blows up. So it's pretty nice. If I can get it to explode a certain distance beyond cover like it says it will, it's an excellent way to take enemies out. 4 is, of course, the ammo packs. This will not recharge, because it's just a simple ammo pack, it won't recharge these grenades, it only recharges bullets. So they did balance it out that way. You have to have the ammo box in order to recharge grenades and things like that. I didn't mention the V. Down there you can see the V. I'll let you change basically rate of fire. Single shot, burst, full auto. Now I love the scope on this, and that's the thing you're seeing as option T. I like the scope. I think it's pretty nice. But if I hit T, I get a scope with a slight zoom. Oh, this weapon also has a bipod. Didn't even realize that. That's cool. So I have a slight zoom. If I don't want the zoom, I can turn it off. So the game is customizable. Very much so. That's right. That's right. Support soldier coming up. Go ahead and give myself more ammo. Oh, did that really go that far? Alright, I'm going to join a smaller server, and then I'm going to go over a couple of the things and show you guys those options I talked about. We'll go over the recon as well, take a look at what he can do, and I want to look at a little bit of the vehicles as well, because there's some seriously cool changes that they've made that I'm very happy about. Not bad. Not bad. I'm at the bottom of my team. Kind of.